So I'm going to talk about typing boards and how they can assist you in communicating with students who cannot communicate verbally. And this is something that students who don't necessarily have the capability of using an iPad, so they can't touch the correct keys because their movements are too sporadic and not controlled. So this is the typing board that I use with one of my students. It's really convenient because it's Velcro to a dry erase board. The Velcro and the laminating makes it a little bit sturdier, it lasts longer, and that way you don't have to keep printing more so that the student can communicate more easily. One thing that's nice is because it has a dry erase board, for those who aren't as proficient in typing and it takes a little bit to learn, so if you don't know how to do it very well, you can use the dry erase board to sort of make choices for the individual, because sometimes having them point to a larger icon or box makes it a little bit easier to understand what they mean. You can also give them choices such as different snacks they might want or activities to complete. But if you do know how to type and you've had some practice, then this is more what you'd want to use. At the top, it says look at the board, because one of the things that with a student I work with, he has trouble staying focused and he needs to be reminded to concentrate and make sure he's focused on what he's doing, which is communicating with you. On the bottom here, there's a lot of extra keys, such as, there's if he needs a break or he needs to go to the bathroom or he needs more support, or if for some people who might not know how to do this, you might have to give him more support in his hand or his back to help him and his body communicate with you, because it's not always easy for him with a movement disorder like the one he has. Also, that's just for one specific student, so that might not be how everybody might use these extra types of keys, but for him, those are what are most helpful and necessary because those are the issues he faces. Also, yes and no, we don't typically use these because he's pretty good at spelling, he types. One thing that we do work on is holding only a finger so that his whole hand isn't typing all over, because if you don't know how to type terribly well with him, then you won't be able to understand what he's saying. So one thing that can be different between students that I worked with is some of them type really fast and really messy, but then other ones are very slow and dainty, so you can really see what they're trying to say. Other than that, that's really how this board works. After this explanation, I will kind of give a demonstration with a student who is willing to help me out and show how this board actually works when you're working with an individual. So for people that aren't as good at typing and they need to offer larger space for their student to type with, you can do what I talked about earlier and you can give them choices. So right now I'm going to ask what type of snack the student would like, because these are the choices we have, and giving them a choice where they can point at a larger choice makes it a little bit easier for me to read. So, Sam, would you like crackers, barbecue chips, Oreos, or banana? Perfect. All right, so she chose crackers, so that would make it easier for me to understand that she wants to have crackers for a snack instead of typing it out on the board if I'm not as familiar with how she types. So if you do know how to type with a board, what you're going to do is, these are just kind of, practice questions so that she can kind of just give an example of how it looks when a student is typing. So, what is your name? All right. Her name is Samantha, if you could not completely see on the board. What's your favorite thing to do? Okay, your favorite thing is to play. And what month is your birthday? All right, your birthday's in May. And what's your favorite book? All right, your favorite book is Cinderella. All right, so that kind of just gives you an example of what typing looks like and how it's done with a student. And it's different for every student. So hers was very gentle and slow, but some students are really rough and quick with it. So it can look a lot different. And sometimes with those students, it's a lot harder to understand. But yeah, that's how typing boards work.